To those of you out there that have a brain, okay, and you've done so much in this life, and you think that you've got your shit together, and that you're so free, you can do whatever, and you can read anything, and you can prove anything, get this book right here. This is an old book, before the printing press. See, before the printing press, it was scrolls, shit, okay, that took time, to put on here and preserve and keep, for a long time. So wouldn't you think that very evil people like Satan would sit over there forever going, how can I fuck that up? Well, they burned down the Library of Alexandria. Some of you scholars out there, you know that. With your education and all of your higher knowledge and higher learning. Did they burn down the Library of Alexandria? Yes, they did. And that was on purpose. It was to lead humanity, which is us, in a blind path. You destroy all the knowledge, true knowledge. You keep what you want, though, which is the Vatican. And then you destroy it, burn it all down, and then you lead them in the darkness for a long time. And then out of nowhere, you create a printing press. Yeah. And then that way you can mass produce garbage. And then circulate it for centuries and then get to where we are now. To where it doesn't matter what you Google. Whatever you Google, you take up for. So Google is your master. You're so content and sitting there and saying, this is you, we made it. No, you didn't. So what I'm going to do is just read an entry out of here. I'm just going to read 2 pages. And that's it. Because it's very serious. It's beyond serious. But if you can, get this book. There's going to be footnotes and stuff, just like in all of your other books that you read. And it's going to refer to, a lot of it's in different languages, because English language is the lowest language ever. So a lot of this stuff that's going to be, recommended or whatever it's saying it's coming out of, you need to read the footnotes. And then you need to look at some of the books, and then you need to try to get those. And then you need to sit down just like you would if you were going to fucking make money. But this is your soul. This has to do with your soul. If you don't want to look at this shit, then start looking up. That'll unlock you big time. Alright. We're going to come out of page 96 and 97. Hopefully I can read without butting in. But what's inside of me, that's inside of you, will feel the need to interrupt. But it says, all physical bodies are bounded by surfaces in which their extremities terminate. Moreover, although these termini are always around the bodies whose termini they are nevertheless considered incorporeal. For wherever body is said to exist, terminus is not yet understood. The concept of terminus is distinct from that of a body. Consequently, the first transition from the corporeal to the incorporeal brings us to the termini of bodies, and these are the first in corporeality after corporeality, not pure nor entirely free from corporeality. For although they are naturally outside of bodies, they are not found except around bodies. Indeed, when you designate a whole body, the surface is also included in the name. But even if surfaces are not kept separate from bodies in the material realm, which is here, the intellect does distinguish between them. As the terminus of a body is the surface, so the termini of the surface are lines, grammea in Greek, and lines terminate in points. Now these are what are known as mathematical bodies, about which geometricians dispute with skill and zeal. When we consider the surface of one side of a body, we find that the number of its lines depend upon the form of the underlying body, whether it is triangular, quadrangular, or polygonal. Its surface is enclosed by the same number of lines as it has angles. At this point, it will be well kept in mind that all bodies have 3 dimensions. I got to throw this in there. Huge dimensional recovery. All bodies have 3 dimensions: longitude, latitude, and altitude. Of the 3, we obtain 1 dimension by drawing a line. In longitude, we do not have latitude. A surface, called by the Greeks epiphania, is marked by length and breadth and lacks thickness. We have indicated how many lines confine this surface. Bodies acquire solidity by adding altitude to the other 2 dimensions. A solid body is produced by filling the space enclosed by 3 dimensions and is called a stereon. An example being the cubical die, D-I-E. If you should wish to consider not the surface of one side, but all the surfaces of a solid figure, which we may assume for the purpose of this illustration to be rectangular and equilateral, there are now not 4 but 8 angles to be reckoned with. This you will recognize if you imagine the above one quadrate, a surface which has described above. You have placed another exactly like it so that the altitude, which was lacking in the plane, is now added. With the 3 dimensions filled up, a solid body is produced, with geometricians call a die or cube, D-I-E-C-U-B-E, cube. Hence, it is apparent that the number 8 is both is considered a solid body. Remember, I posted a shit ton of stuff about the number 8 the other day. So we're bringing shit to life for you a little bit in clues to draw you in to get this. Because a lot of the shit you learn in trig, whatever it is, it's not fucking real. It's not real. Okay? Length, width, and height is longitude, latitude, and altitude. There's spirit in this. We're creating. I told you to interrupt. Hence, it is apparent that the number 8 both is and is considered a solid body. If indeed 1 is represented by a point, 2 by the drawing of a line, and 4 by points arranged at right angles to each other, with lines extending between the points to form a square. Town squares, New York Times Square. When these 4 are duplicated and made 8, forming 2 equal squares, and 1 is superimposed upon the other, giving the figure altitude, the result is a cubical figure, which is a solid body. Thus, it becomes clear that numbers precede surfaces and lines, of which surfaces consist, and in fact come before all physical objects. From lines we progress to numbers, to something more essential, as it were, so that from the various numbers of lines we understand what geometrical figures are being represented. But we have already remarked that surfaces with their lines are the first incorporeality after the corporeality of bodies, and that they are nevertheless not to be separated from bodies on account of their indissoluble union with them. Therefore, whatever precedes surface is purely incorporeal. But if we have shown that number is prior to surface and to lines, hence the first perfection of incorporeality is in numbers, and in this, as we previously stated, the common perfection of fullness and of all numbers. The fullness of those numbers which form bodies or bind them together is particular one, as we have suggested above and will explain shortly. At the same time, I shall not deny that there are other reasons for numbers being full. What we're telling you is this, your brain is going to want an answer. Like, hey Google, he gives it to me now, man. See, y'all can't fucking say, I'm going to throw it all away because gematria, which has to do with summoning fucking demons. It's what it does. It has to do with fucking demons. Like demons. But you do not have it in you. You will not look. You have to fucking literally get Aleister Crowley's 777. It will not make sense. It will not even fucking, you will throw it away. You will not sit there and look at it over and over for years like Matt has. And then you will fucking finally see what they're doing, because in your world, the math that you have says that's not in the universities. The motherfucking Black Path magicians has gave y'all everything that you're taking up for, and it's not real. This right here is just that's what I'm saying. You would want to get this, skim through it, and say, no, that's not real. That's who you are. There you go, Matt. It says the reference of numbers, this is in the footnotes, the reference of numbers to geometrical figures was very likely known to Pythagoras. Well, of course. The association by classical mathematicians of geometrical figures with numbers is responsible for the meaning number, quotation marks, being given to the word figure, derived from Latin figura. Numbers consist of units represented by points arranged in a straight line, linear, in 2 dimensions, plane, or in 3 dimensions, solid. The number 2 or any larger number may be arranged as linear. 3 becomes the first plane number. If the points are arranged in triangular position, and any number above 3 may be arranged as plane. 4 becomes the first solid number in a pyramid with a triangular base. And any number above 4 may be solid. Macrobius chooses to regard 4 as a plane number, quadrant. The first solid with which he deals being the cube, or 8. Being 8. Okay? If Google this for me right fast. Google Jesus 888 Greek. That only. Okay? Jesus' name equaled 888 in Greek. So wouldn't it make sense that when I'm like showing you blatantly satanic gematria, but see, in your world, it's not real, even though it controls you. It's 888. Destroy governments is 888. Satanic blood worship is 888. 1776 is 888 times 2. The chessboard is 64 squares, which is cubes, which is a magic square, which would be Mercury, which is the messenger of the gods. That's 8 times 8 is 64. 888, yet again, and the reason I'm telling you like longitude, latitude, and altitude, it's because they can, this power that has control over us, there's quadrants on the other side that you don't know about. We're going to use that word. The same way with the longitude and latitude and the magnetic field that you don't know about. Okay, your medical industry was created to destroy all messengers from above your head. When a child says, hey, I think something's trying to tell me something, you take them to Satan, and then Satan puts them on pills and kills the Jesus Christ messenger. Because of what? A TV told you to do it. That's right. Now, I'm going to ask all of you something. Are you sure you're not under the influence of major black fucking magic? I'm telling you that TV is for dummies and that it's created to make you fucking pathetic, sit there, upload garbage, and then go at people because they say stop fucking watching it. It's for idiots. And then once again, you say, you see our lives. Jesus sees your lives. He also sees you not listening too. And there's very, very severe punishment. See, you're denying true messenger abilities, communication, channeling to you, saying this is what they're doing. And as a whole unit, black magic, which he didn't know, I'm adding that in there. You're the unit. You're the unit. AI, it's one unit of Satan. So when you fucking go at Satan's unit of AI brains, it's the Matrix swarm mode. Because, see, all the impulses in there has came through the screens, and it's all Satan, fucking demons, demon. They don't tell you that we're born with satanic impulses. Why is that? Well, they want you to they resonate those impulses. And for one, your organs are developed inside. You sit in a desk, you should be running around. And they're what's the whole point? By the time they're 17, 18, there's no fucking, every habit that they have is horrible. They're always depending on plastic wrappers, eating out of them, sitting there on screens. They're all pale, fucking malnourished and everything. And that's a little bitty Arimon. That's what the fuck that is. That's a little bitty demon Arimon. And they're only fucking, see, the only way they can incarnate here is through everything that these sons of bitches have done. Just real quick, your sheath, your ether body. Okay, when we, let me use neutral words. When we transition, okay, your ether body will shed, but there's demons that can't incarnate here in physical form. So what happens is a lot of these human sacrifices in these huge churches, I can give it to you, they set up somebody in a position, and then they fill they marinate this human being with, they make them go home and read all this literature for the church, but it's really black magic to put into their brain. So when they take them out on a certain date during a leap year, too, leap years, big demon years. So when they go across and the soul separates and the ether body, okay, we'll just stay on the ether body. As it's sitting here, this fucking demon that can't come to this world, it inherits this shell, this sheath. So it inherits the family member's fucking sheath. Okay? So, and then what happens is these black path magicians here they can communicate with that demon. And then somehow use that information that they uploaded into that brain here. When it goes over there, then they can do more shit. But it's also it's to control the congregation more. You know what I mean? It's to weaken them and then to bring them in more. Because a lot of these deaths, you know, they come out and just say, yeah, well, because the families are like, there's nothing wrong with them. And they're like, well, there's a birth defect on their heart. And, you know, it's like, that's not real. It's not real. Trust me. Okay. These demons that set this up, okay, the ones at the top, when shit pops off somewhere and they want to get rid of somebody, they just bring in experts. And these stupid goy around these small towns, they just see them and go, oh, there's the experts. They're perfect, even though they're the fucking demons committing the atrocious demon sacrificing acts. And then they leave. It's very easy. The morgues, all the cutting, black magic's cutting into organs. Yeah, it's cutting into organs. And what's every hospital about? Organ cutting. You wouldn't be cut on if you didn't eat the society that you did. So there's the impulses. The society is the fucking towns and shit with the brands. The brands is the big dogs. It's very easy. And then you eat that for generations. And of course you're going to be cut on. You've sat on a couch. Take the C off. Ouch. It's black magic. Fucks your spine up. Fucking channeling black magic into you and you turn into a demon. And then you go wherever the screen tells you to go. You have no ability to fucking do anything at all for yourself. And then all these young Arimons that they're raising right now, man, look, they're going to bring it back into all the Coliseums. They're going to bring back human sacrifice in like sports games, getting rid of us eventually down the road. Look, the horror movies and the fucking sick black magic rituals they do on all their series and stuff, that's all conditioning these fucking idiots into a demon, like a one-unit demon. Everything that was melted, even the fake volcanoes, those are direct fucking laser. Just look closer, you'll see it. There's structure in every one of them, all the fucking way around. Because when it was split, we didn't need anything. It was way different. We built it. We built it with perfect perfection because that's perfect up there. So we were perfect. One fucking cosmic being. One unit. And now the opposite of that power has came in and fucked it all up and then created AI to put these souls within a detainment, and they're going to miss the next 3 stages of evolution. And they will. And they're going to throw them in there. And the thing is I have that, like, that hybrid ability. That's what I'm saying. I can give it to you. We can go to any fucking structure, anywhere that you want to go, and we can find out who fucking died in there, and just give me about 5 minutes, and I'll show you how they did it by the numbers, on what sign, what year, why they did it, and how they brought the con of an aggregate. See, it's an aggregate, which is a group of souls, which is a con. C-O-N in satanic gematria is 137, which is the 33rd prime. Prime being the prime mobile, which would be the top dog up there, which Saturn's here, and there's the prime mobile. It's huge, huge things y'all don't know about. So it's a con of an aggregate. You know, when the pastor walks down, that's a big dick. Yeah. And it's also a spinal cord. Okay, and then the candles back there behind the pastors and stuff, that's your pineal gland and pituitary. But when it's the penis, it's because the pastor is seminating the brains with Satan, marinating them for their souls. And then they go across. They don't see these signs. You understand? You'll see these circles, circle with a cross on all these churches. On the other side, look, that right there is going to be a square. Yeah, that is that on the other side. And then in return is a prison for your soul. You'll be forever stuck in the earthly sphere. And we don't want you to do that, but, you know, most people can't listen and they don't have it in them. I love you.